Okay, so I want to talk about God's plan. This is a concept that I've always struggled with. I still don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what I believe with it. A lot of people make whole decisions for their lives based on what they perceive to be God's plan. Um, I've always felt like I believe in fate, like I believe in God, I think part of with my belief in God is like this sincere desire that there's some sort of order to the universe, that even when something crazy happens, something painful and seemingly without reason happens, that there is some reason, that God has a reason, that there's some bigger plan that I can't perceive and I can't comprehend. And so to believe that, it gives me comfort. To think that, you know, things that happen are not just me and my isolated instances of hurt or confusion or whatever, that they are for something bigger. And that's especially helpful when you're very excited about something or you have deep beliefs that something's going to work out or be amazing, and then it doesn't work out. Um, but I also think in some ways it's a cop out. I know people who aren't religious believe that it's a cop out, but I think even for religious people, it can be a cop out. Just because it's like, it almost encourages an action or allowing things to just happen to you instead of you taking action. And there's many points in the Bible where, God kind of makes it clear that you're supposed to be active. You're not supposed to just let life happen to you. There's some great parables about that. I think there's some sort of joke or story or however you want to call it. Trying to remember the exact details, but it's something like there's, you know, a drowning man, and he's like, what am I gonna do? And he's like, well, God will save me. And a ship comes by, and the drowning person is like, the people in the ship are like, oh, let us help you. We'll save you, whatever. And the drowning man's like, no, no, no. God will save me. God will save me. And then, a helicopter comes by and tries to land on the water, puts down a rope to save the drowning man. He's like, no, 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 God will save me. And then, a dolphin comes up from the water, starts speaking in English to the man, and is like, come on, get on my back. I'm going to take you. I'm going to save you. Let's get out of here. He's like, no, 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 God will save me. And finally, the man drowns. He dies, and he goes up to heaven, and he's at the pearly gates, and he's like, God, what happened? I thought you were gonna save me. And God's like, well, I sent you a ship, I sent you a helicopter, I sent you the dolphin. You didn't take any of those opportunities to be saved. And the point of that is God works in mysterious ways and all of this. And it's hard. I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, how is this man supposed to know that that ship was sent by God? I mean, how is he, maybe he was waiting for something else, some other type of connection. And how can any of us know, really? Um, it's hard, we make these decisions in our lives, and, we want to do things that are good for us and that make us feel good, that satisfy our own needs and wants and ideas about the direction of our lives. But at the same time, for people who are religious, they also want to be doing some greater good. They want to be doing right by, what they think God wants from them, what they think the bigger plan is for the world, or how to care for other human beings, like doing right not just by your own feelings and needs and desires, but also by the people around you. Um, so it's really hard to know, I mean, certain big decisions in my life, like joining Peace Corps, um, I had to fight for it, in some ways. Going through the process, it's a big process, and I had many hiccups of my own. And so, when you first encounter an obstacle, like the first time I encountered an obstacle in my application process or whatever, you're like, oh, if you are really religious like me, you're just like, or very much believing in God, you'd be like, oh, is this a sign? Is this a sign from God that maybe this is not for me? And then you kind of have to be like, well, no, maybe it's just a challenge. Maybe it's just an additional challenge that God put in my way, but still wants me to fight for it because good things you got to fight for. Um, so scaling that out to anything in your life, how do you know whether this isn't just some challenge you're supposed to try and overcome, or whether it's a sign that it's not supposed to really work out? You can't really know that. You can't really know it until after it's happened, and even then, you might not even know. Um, so, I mean, it just sucks. Like, it sucks that there isn't a clear answer. Whether you believe in God or not, it sucks that there isn't a clear plan that's given to us saying, oh yeah, no, this is like totally up to you, but this is part of like making sure that other people have these good things happen to them, and like, so you should just do it even though you don't want to do it, or you don't like to do it, or it's hard. There isn't that sort of manual. We don't have, car manuals for our lives. Um, oh, if this light goes on, that means you gotta go get the oil changed. Like, if only there was that for problems in our lives. Clearer directions. We don't have clear directions. And so anything we choose to do, is almost a stab in the dark. And we try and do the right thing. That's all we can do. Just try and do the right thing. Try and do things that make us happy and make the people around us happy. Inevitably, we're going to screw up. And I think the big part is, realizing when you do screw up, knowing how to apologize that, take responsibility for that, and then let it go. Um, and then also realize, that sometimes maybe the choices you make aren't going to make everybody happy, but maybe they make you happy, or other choices you might make other people happy, but not yourself, and that sort of like give and take is just part of life. Sucks. Wish there was a way to like make everyone happy all the time, but that's just the way it is. And maybe God does have a bigger plan for all of us. Maybe He doesn't. But while we're still here on Earth, we can't know for sure ever if He has a plan or not, and if He does have a plan, what that plan is. So all we can try and do is do our best, um, and not beat ourselves up all the time for when we do screw up or when we are hurting. That's my 2 cents. Hope everyone takes care. Peace and love. Bye.